What is up, guys? Welcome. Crypto FUD. Ay. Let's get into it, guys. I know everybody already knows. Ricky, what's going on? Everybody knows what's going on right now as far as what the crypto market saw last night around 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. An absolute bloodbath. Ricky, what's going on, brother? I'm going to try to keep it bullish. I'm going to try to keep it, upbeat, because I don't want to come up here sounding all like, we've gone through enough in the last 12 hours, right? So let's just go through this. Let's get through it. Let's fly through it. We're going to talk about some stuff. What do I think is going on? What do I think happened? And what do I think we're headed after this historic flash crash? Ricky said this is very bullish. I actually agree with you. Well, I always agree with you, Ricky, but I really agree with you on this one. Let's do this, guys. So welcome. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are at least having a good day other than crypto. I know we're going to talk about everything. This could be either this was very bad, right? Either you were part of the people that got liquidated, and we're going to talk about the number so far that's been liquidated for the history books, guys. The flippin' history books here. Or maybe you're the people that were able to catch that dip and get some of these crazy prices that we're going to talk about here with these altcoins. I have never, in the 5 years that I've gone through crypto, right? And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but crypto's only been around for 15 years, right? So I've been in the crypto space for 30% of its life. I have never seen something this dramatic so fast. We've seen it happen, but not on this scale. Let's do this. So Bitcoin right now is sitting somewhere around, this isn't even right. Let me. That chart was telling me Bitcoin was at 114K. It's completely not correct. I will tell you guys right now, Flip, what's going on. Be careful because of last night's crash. A lot of these charts are going off of the central exchanges data that they're receiving. And a lot of the central exchanges they crashed last night, right? Obviously, so a lot of them aren't giving out correct data. So be very cautious on what you're seeing as far as numbers. The chart I was just looking at that we use a lot was just telling me 114. I'm looking at the actual number right now. Bitcoin's sitting somewhere around 112,200 as of now. So big move. Obviously, last night. We had a bad day yesterday. Period. Right? We were heading down. We basically started the day off. This was yesterday, somewhere around $121,000, and we literally saw a massive drop. This was probably one of the biggest daily candles in the red that we've had, if not ever, in a long time. You guys can see. I don't want to use a different chart here. Hold on. All right, this one's good. So you guys can see on the daily, look at this. Look at this candle. Bitcoin dropped down, I believe, over 10% technically throughout the day. If we look and see. Oh my God. 18% candle in one day. A $2 trillion asset. Down almost 20% in 24 hours. That's crazy. I don't think we've ever seen a candle. We haven't. We've never seen something like this before in our lives, people. So if you've survived, this is going to be something you're going to tell your grandkids. I survived that flash crash of 2025. Troy, get out of here with that Bitcoin of $50,000, man. How about this? Pump fund to a penny. I don't even know what pump fund's at right now. Bitcoin goes down to 50K. Actually, I wouldn't even be upset. I wouldn't. I'd do anything I can to get that I'd become a whole Bitcoiner at that point. What's pump fund on right now? Basically, whatever pump fund's at right now, down 99%. How about that? I don't even know what the hell pump fund's at right now. I know it's under a penny, so. But let's get back on track here. Like I said, I want to be positive, so I don't even want to even go through here and kick a dead horse while it's down. The horse being Bitcoin, or the horse being us, right? It is what it is, guys. So again, 112,200. We actually dropped down. See, like on here, on this chart right here, it tells me we went down to $100,000. Other charts it was saying 105. Some charts were saying 107. I was watching a couple other streams last night. Unfortunately, last night, guys, I was out. You know, it was 6 o'clock evening Friday night. I'm usually out with the family. We're on our way to dinner. And I opened my phone up and I checked. I saw basically the dip or this massive drop. It already had happened. And we already had started somewhat of a little bit of a correction towards the upside. But my initial look was just like, oh my God. Like everybody around me thought I was about to tell them someone passed away. That's how it looked on my face. I was just like, oh my God. I was just like looking around at like, Bitcoin and looking at Ethereum, looking at my positions on some stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this is insane. Just what we saw last night. Like I'm telling you guys, last night was crazy. Something we have never seen in our lifetime, guys. I can't even explain it. But I honestly think right now, because of the fact that regardless wherever Bitcoin actually dropped down to, whether it was 100, 105, 107, regardless, we did see a nice bounce off of it. Again, we're sitting at around 112,000 so far. I personally think that the fact that we did see that bounce, that was a good sign that a lot of people ate the dip, right? A lot of people ate the dip. Bitcoin dropping down to 100 and continuing to drop, or Bitcoin dropping down to 100 and staying at those numbers would have been very troublesome. But the fact that we saw that drop and we saw the bounce, right? Because, we saw the initial bounce. We ran up to about 113. Obviously, with everything kind of settling in, we knew who knows where we're going to be at tomorrow, right? Because things, even though we saw it all happen yesterday, there's still people that weren't even paying attention, that are probably seeing it now, going to see it tomorrow. Monday, I would like to see what's going to happen Monday, because the S&P, if you guys can see, the stock market, before this crash even happened, it was one of the worst days in the stock market that we've seen in a long time. The S&P dropped down almost 3%. The NASDAQ was down 3.5%. Dow Jones was down 2%. This was all before the markets closed, and then an hour and a half later, we saw this complete crash. What I will say, without getting political, is that we did see, yesterday we saw a lot of stuff coming from Trump, right? We saw a lot of stuff coming from Trump. The tariffs. He's basically stating that we could possibly now put 100% more tariffs on China. That scared the market. That's really what initially scared the market. There's also a couple things that I did notice. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but the United States are sending troops to Israel as we speak, because they brokered a ceasefire over there, right? Now you're like, why would this affect the markets? It might not. It could, right? We're just going over there for a peace mission, basically, to just make sure that everything is going to be okay with the peace deal between, the two parties. But we're going to have troops in foreign soil in an active, technically a dormant war zone that was just active a week ago, right? So I don't know if that had anything to do, because all this basically was announced yesterday right after the market closed. And within minutes, within maybe an hour, we saw this massive, massive drop. And this drop wasn't, a few, people started selling. This drop initiated from billions and billions of dollars that was initially just sold on the open market to make Bitcoin crash like that. So we don't necessarily know yet what it was caused from and who did it. Not that that's going to matter much as far as who did it, but it could, right? I think when the smoke clears, it's going to be probably like a BlackRock, Grayscale, somebody. It could be somebody, significant to where it might, it might scare people, like, why are they selling? What's going on? So that's what I think is the reason why, or what's going on as far as with Bitcoin in the markets. My big thing is really, we're going to probably see a very boring 24 hours. You're going to start seeing things pick up come Sunday evening. And I don't know if it's going to be towards the side that we want. Because the stock market, you better believe, people that are in the stock market, they watch crypto during the weekends to kind of see what maybe Monday might bring. Futures is going to open up Sunday evening. Who knows what we're going to see? I would probably imagine it's probably not going to be good unless for some miraculous reason we see Trump, post something that like, oh, the tariffs it's not going to happen, and and whatever caused this, if we see some kind of a backtrack from that, then possibly Monday will open up, and who knows? Maybe you might feel crazy for buying right now, but it might pay off, right? It might pay off. So, Ethereum, same thing, right? Same thing. Guys, we're going to go through some stuff here. I'm going to show you guys some altcoins. I don't know if you guys have looked at some of these, but I'm going to show you some of these altcoins and what these prices were. And I'm going to show you how people get rich off crypto, us normal folk, right? Ethereum dropped down to about 34. Honestly, in my opinion, Ethereum freaking honestly held really well. Ethereum and like Solana held really well. I was expecting like Ethereum to be down to like 2,500, but it held really well. And now it's back up to about 3,800, a little bit above. It's back above. This is the 236, this support level right here. So, I mean, yes, it's below that 4,100, right? But you can see it already, I think, was below the 4,100 prior to this big drop. But it's really holding that 236 back up on the 236, and it looks like on the hourly, it's holding some good support. So I'm not really too worried about Ethereum. I'm really not too worried. I just think that maybe Monday might be a continuation of a possible bloodbath. We don't know yet, right? We don't know yet. Looking at the bubbles, you can see across the board an absolute just decimation, right? Other than Zcash, right, that's up 24%. Right now, it is, I mean, this isn't, these bubbles are consolidated, right? They're condensed. That's what I meant to use, condense. Usually with these bubbles this small, you would think, oh, they're like 1-2%. No, these are billion-dollar projects that are down 20, 30, 40%. HBAR down 16%, Arbitrum 21%, Filecoin 30%, ADA down 17%. Remember, this is after the bounce. Yesterday, these projects were down 50% within minutes, 50%. So imagine if you were catching that drop, right, and buying during all the scare, you're already up on those moves. But just imagine, and like I said, we're gonna go through some of these projects, and it's gonna blow your mind how low some of these projects actually got. But you can see across the board 20, 30, 40%. ICP down 24%, Litecoin 24%, WorldCoin 22%, Stacks 22%, Optimism 30%, Floki 23%, Lido 27%, Say 21%, Dogecoin 21%, Pump, Troy, take that, Pump's down 22.2%, right? Just crazy, absolutely crazy, guys. Right now, you guys can see, not to be, confused. It's very expected, right? We are in fear now, guys. We are in fear. We're at 35 right now in fear. I'm sure it's probably a little bit farther down is what it should be if it really would have caught that bottom of the market yesterday. We're in fear. This usually tends to be a good time to be accumulating on some of these projects. I know it's like the worst thing that you want to hear right now, but actually right now, buying last night and right now, probably going to pay off for a lot of people that can actually get through and hit that buy button right now, if you have any more money left, right? The market cap of the whole crypto space, we went from basically 4.3 trillion down to, what did we go down to? Double bottom on that as well. Went down to 3.7. So what is that? About $500 million. About $500 billion left the whole space last night within minutes. $500 billion. $500 million. Well, I can say million. $500 billion literally left within minutes, right? We did see somewhat of a bounce back. We're at 3.75, but I mean, it's nothing compared to where we were at just literally 12 hours ago. We were sitting at around $4.14 trillion. So this is insane, right? But like I keep saying, if you use this, Azoma, what's going on, brother? If you use this as your, if you use this to your advantage, I mean, some of these prices, bro, some of these prices I've never seen on some of these altcoins. So let's just go through and look. So Solana last night, Solana dropped down almost to a support level at 168. Like I said, Solana and Ethereum were some of the better ones. Go to XRP. Look at this drop. XRP went down to $1.25 last night briefly. It's already back up to $2.50. So like I said, this right here could have been a big move in disguise, right? 96% move, 97% move on that bottom. If you were able to catch anywhere near there, that was probably a 2x for you. If you were able to catch anywhere near there. ICP. I've never seen ICP this low in my life. Ever. And I've been there since the day this thing dropped, when it had a terrible drop in like 2021. Dropped down to $1.16. 182% bounce off of that. What is that? 3.5x? If you were able to catch that on the bottom. 3.5x right there. So, I mean, looking at a lot of these projects, this drop was horrendous. But if you were able to catch that bottom, which unfortunately I was driving, so I didn't catch the bottom for that. I did buy in and add to my positions on some of the stuff that I was just absolutely like just destroyed on, just to bring my average down. But something like this, I wasn't able to catch the bottom. I wasn't able to catch the bottom for it. Even though $3.30 isn't a terrible buy-in even right now. It's a little bit lower than where I'm at. My buy-in on ICP is like $3.70 right now or something like that, I believe. I don't even remember anymore. I know I'm down, but it's not too bad now. Down here, if I would have looked at my portfolio, I probably would have shit myself. But if I would have been able to, I wouldn't even have hesitated if I would have been able to catch $1.15 ICP, right? Fetch AI. Look at this. Drop down to 11 cents. I don't think I ever, even during the bear market, I don't even think I saw an 11 cents. I was buying Fetch in during the bear market at 15 cents. Look at that. 255% bounce. What is that? A 5x? That's a 5x right there. Jasmy. Look at Jasmy. Down to less than a half of a penny. Less than half of a penny. Right here. Look at this bounce. A nice 158% bounce on Jasmy. I mean, so you could look at this like, oh my God, this was absolutely, I mean, it was crazy. It was bad. But at the same time, anybody that actually took advantage of this dip, right? They're doing pretty well today. They woke up today and they're probably, walking with a nice little swag because they've already freaking anywhere from 2 to 5x. And this is on bigger projects. Some of these like DeFi projects, I was talking to, I think Ricky, like Fartcoin and stuff. I mean, they 3x'd within minutes from the drop to the bounce. They literally 3x'd within minutes. Just crazy, crazy stuff here. So, I mean, it is what it is, guys. With stuff like this, like I said, we've never dealt with anything on this level ever before. But, yeah, this was just one of those, like, it was like a COVID black swan event. But we know stuff like this, it happens here and there. It happens like once every, 1 or 2 or 3 years. Something like this will happen, like a black swan event. Like I said, whenever the smoke clears, we'll get a little bit more indication on potentially where it came from and who did it. And we can speculate on why it happened. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter anymore, right? So $9.4 billion in liquidations over 24-hour triggers 2021 type situation for altcoins. $9.4 billion, guys, in liquidations. $9.4 billion. Let that sink in. I don't think we've ever seen something this bad. $1 billion day. If we saw the markets get liquidated for like $1 billion, that was like something far-fetched, something crazy. $9.5 billion. Whew. So let's just go through this real quick. So There may be no crying in the casino, but on days like these, you'd be forgiven for shedding a tear. With $9.4 billion liquidated in a single day on the crypto market, the flash crash comes just in time to punch the late coming retail crowd in the face. In a single 24-hour span, crypto traders witnessed one of the biggest liquidation cascades since the heydays of 2021, a moment that rechristened risk at an entire generation. The crypto market gets nuked. Of the $9.4 billion in liquidations over the past 24 hours, more than $6 billion in leveraged positions were wiped out in less than 1 hour. Less than 1 hour, guys. You see that? And that was just people that were probably holding on to, obviously longs, thinking because we already had seen a bad day yesterday, right? Yesterday was already kind of a wash. And then, just out of nowhere. So why the sudden wipeout? One word, tariffs. The cascading sell-off coincided with President Trump's announcement of aggressively expanding tariffs on China. His rhetoric, whether or not it comes to pass, roiled markets globally and snowballed into a broad risk-off episode. For an industry long accustomed to outsized moves, it was a powerful reminder that crypto is still at the mercy of macro. And when the world's two largest economies volley threats, digital assets don't simply wobble, they implode. So PTSD, altcoin traders relived 2021. If parts of this seem familiar, they should. The magnitude and velocity of the sell-off evoked a 2021 grand altcoin reckoning when exchange overloads, cascading stop losses, and unbalanced leverage left traders scrambling for cover. I'm going to put a pause right there because, what I've been hearing was that the exchanges crashed, right? What I'm seeing is a lot of people that shouldn't have been liquidated were liquidated for whatever reason. Obviously 99% of people should have been liquidated. There's just no way of getting around it. But there were some instances where people were like, look, I shouldn't have been liquidated. My liquidation point was at this, and I was liquidated. Stop losses. People had stop losses set up for their leverage. Nothing. It just completely liquidated 100% of their positions, right? It shows you that something like this was so big and so massive. That's what she said, right? But so big and so massive that the exchanges, and it wasn't just one exchange, right? It wasn't just Coinbase. It was I would want to say, because I didn't even get on an exchange. But even when I was trying to do on DeFi swaps, Phantom Wallet kept giving me errors, until finally it went through. I was trying to open up leverage while all this was going on, because when we dipped, remember I called it about halfway on the way up. I knew we were going to probably, get a little bit of a recovery before, maybe a continuation. Trying to open up leverage, wouldn't let me. It just kept saying like it was just out of order, because I'm sure they were probably just like not allowing any leverage trading at the time. So this is why you have a lot of people now, they're just like, holy hell, like the markets, they can't seem like and I know this was like a crazy something that we don't ever see all the time, but this is something like, it just gives you back, like this is the point of the article, was it gave you back that PTSD of 2021. There was certain times during 2021 that maybe it wasn't this dramatic, but this is what happened to a lot of traders where exchanges were down. For whatever reason, leverage trading just wasn't working properly, or whatever the case is. People couldn't get their money out because everything was down, So it was a scary event yesterday. It really was. Not only people losing money, but, people trying to prevent themselves from losing everything, and they couldn't even stop it, right? So let's see here. So those seeking safe haven were left solely disappointed. Many exchanges struggled under the Doge, with reports of brief outages and slippage on even the most liquid pairs. The brutal crypto market crash led Wolf of Wall Street Scott Malker to comment, seems somewhat guaranteed that a major market maker blew up today. Wouldn't be surprised if an exchange quietly went insolvent today as well. This was a 2021 type situation for altcoins. Like I said, smoke clears. We're going to find out exactly what happened. We're going to find out exactly what happened. Flip said I bought more Mantle, Sui, and Arrow. Nice. Amora, what's going on? Said I'm literally thinking there could be a scenario where all the coins go to all-time highs for maybe 24 hours and then wipe out. I'm getting ready to hit that sell if that happens. I don't know if I'm on that scenario right now, bro. Because right now, for us to run to all-time highs, like the confidence in the market right now, we're reading this right now. The confidence in the market right now is at like probably at lows. Very, very low right now. Put it like this. Yesterday's crash is going to go in the history books of crashes of like the stock market back in the 1920s, right? Like I'm telling you, it is equivalent to that where there's a front run, bank run, where people are trying to get their money out and they can't. And this is exactly what happened with all the exchanges. And you can see some of these people are saying they wouldn't be surprised if a massive exchange potentially went into insolvent quietly, right? Because of all the money that was just basically taken out at so fast, Let me see here. So putting it in perspective, this is the last part right here. Perspective matters. The liquidity dollar amount is eye-watering, but so too is the scale of today's crypto market. This may be the biggest ever liquidation the crypto market has seen, but to borrow logic from the wise men, Homer Simpson, for a moment, it's the biggest ever liquidation the crypto market has seen so far. Bigger will surely come. It's essential to keep the figure in context as percentage of the total market cap. The industry has ballooned since 2021, so while the shock feels biblical in proportional terms, it may not be as catastrophic as numbers initially suggest. So, I like that article. That was a good article. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. Like I said, this was an event that we're going to talk about for a very long time. Looking at some of the liquidations on Arkham, I was very interested in coming in here and just checking out some of the liquidations. Do you think that you had a bad day yesterday? Check out some of these people. So, Maki Big Brother, I don't know who this is, has been fully liquidated, has now gone from plus $44 million to yesterday. He lost everything, $10 million and losses on his account. And this right here pisses me off. If you guys haven't heard, this right here, somebody opened up millions of dollars worth of shorts 30 minutes before the crash yesterday. 30 minutes before, right? Made $104 million after everything was said and done, caught the bottom exactly, and then took out all their profits. Right here, and you can see this was on Hyperliquid yesterday. This is all their transactions. You can see they took out $102.3 million after everything was said and done. They put in all these shorts. Look at this, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 2 million, 10 million, 10 million. They did it in a bunch of different transactions on Hyperliquid. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating with you guys, literally minutes before the drop. And everybody is saying that this was basically 100% insider trading right here. I hope they can link this account to whoever it is. I need answers here. 100%. Because this right here is insane. That's insane. That's crazy. Let's see here. Other than that, looks like, look at this flip. Alameda Research just moved $10 million in Mantle. Alameda Research, this is basically like FTX, just transferred 10.7 million MNT to the address associated with Hex Trust. This address makes frequent deposits to central exchanges like Binance and Kraken. Is Alameda's estate selling Mantle? This was 20 hours ago, so maybe they've already made the sale. Was it FTX that crashed the market? No, they don't have enough money. They don't have enough money to do. Troy said it was Nancy Pelosi. Now, she does have enough money to do so. She definitely does have enough money to do that. So Lark, shout out to Lark, said the COVID crash saw $1.2 billion in liquidations. So imagine that, a world event, $1.2 billion in liquidations. The FTX crash, $1.6 billion in liquidations. Today, from what he claims, today we saw $19.31 billion in liquidations, the best liquidation event in history of crypto. But y'all wish you bought during the COVID crash, so here's your opportunity. And I agree with that. I really do. We just talked about this a little while ago. We literally just talked about this a little while ago. Some of these prices, I mean, even if you don't, like, where we saw the bounce, obviously, like, some of these prices, XRP dropped down to what, $1? ICP dropped down to $1. You know, some of these prices were, I mean, this is stuff that you dream for, right? You dream for. You just got the opportunity. Now, obviously, to catch that bottom you would have to been literally right there ready to buy. So I'm sure none of us caught it. But even right now, some of these prices are still very low. Still very low. Don't forget, we do have a Fed meeting less than 3 weeks. In 18 days from now, we have, looks like the market basically almost 99% chance that we're going to see some kind of a drop in interest rates, a quarter, maybe a 50 basis point. At this point, we need a 50 or a 75. Jerome needs to throw us a bone here. Something. He's got to throw us something here. Looking at October, we went from being up 8% to now we are in the red. Negative 1.26%. And technically right now, if you look at the last 12 years, right, there's only been 2 red closing months in October. Is this going to be another one? Are we going to make history today or this month, guys? Who knows? Who knows, but it doesn't look good, guys. It doesn't look good for right now. Doesn't look good for right now. And going over and looking at the, actually, I want to look at liquidations right now. What the hell is this? RDNT. Why isn't it Bitcoin? It's a little odd. There it is. Well, there you go. You can see long positions, 4.5 billion. This is in the last 24 hours. Ethereum was at 3.65 billion liquidated in long positions. Sol almost 2 billion. Yeah, it's pretty bad out there as far as leverage trading. That's why I tell you guys, man, you got to be careful with leverage trading. You really do. It's not for the weak. It is not for the weak. Looking at DeFi right now. Whew. This right here might be a spot, guys, where we can start seeing some plays, in my opinion. Looking at DeFi, I mean, look at Farcoin. Farcoin's down technically 70% in the last couple months. But I mean, in the last hour, it's down. I'm sorry, in the last 24 hours, it's down 40% right now. It is at around 36%. And mark my words, Farcoin's going to go back up. Farcoin's going to at least get back up to 40 or 50 cents probably soon. You know, you can see a nice little W pattern already forming on Farcoin. So I guarantee right here, this is a guarantee buy. I'm telling you right now, not financial advice, but guarantee buy right here. Guarantee. It's going to run right back up. I'm telling you, it's going to get back to $1 at some point. I don't think it's going to get to $1 overnight, but that right there is a guarantee buy. My freaking mask. Oh my God. Down so bad. Oh my God. Just fell off a cliff. This was one of the projects I had to add to my bag. Just because it was obviously I'm just down like crazy. So whenever this happens, something like this, I just buy big amounts too. Like right now, this is a big buy event where I'm buying massive chunks. Like I have the most I've ever had. And I'm buying the most I've ever had because I'm trying to bring my average down like crazy, right? So when we do see a bounce and we just get back to where we were at, I'll be well into the positives, just because I took advantage of all this down here. It's really just buying in fear, right? Buying when there's fear. I'm not in fear, but buying when there's fear, Looking, Gina, her win, down 26%. Farhouse, this project right here, this is, this is not a very big project. This thing has been getting some swings. I'm keeping an eye on it because I might throw a little bit into it. It has such a small market cap. It's literally at $100,000 market cap, so it's very risky, but Solana-based project. It's at a point where, look at this. Just, what was this, on the 9th? 2 days ago before all this shit happened, it was pretty much where it was at, and it bounced 100% real quick. Obviously, if you do take advantage of this, I'm not, not financial advice or anything like that, but if you do take advantage of this, if you do get a nice little 100% burst like that, take advantage of it and move on. Brett, look at this. Brett, Base's biggest meme coin, down to $300 million. It honestly, Brett really, it dropped. It's down 23%, but not too bad. I feel like we saw like the bigger projects like XRP, ICP, Filecoin, some of these, Jasmy dropped down 50%. These projects, I don't know if maybe it's just not showing me the bottom. No, it is. These projects, they really didn't, this dropped a big chunk, but it just feels like it held stronger than some of the bigger cap projects. Yeah, this dropped 33%. So, Brett, even though you're getting a 33% discount right now, which is, a good bargain right there, it actually held pretty well. Turbo, down 20%, held pretty well. This actually probably saw a nice little drop. It already bounced. Let's see. Holy shit, yeah, Turbo dropped 60%. 60%, so it's already bounced a good amount. 100% bounce off of that 104%. And still in a very good buy zone, even where it's at right now. So, like Myro dropped. Myro's actually seeing a nice recovery. Look at that. Nice recovery on Myro. If you go from just yesterday, it dropped down about 45%, and it's already bounced 15%, probably more from that bottom to where it's at right now. 40% bounce off of Myro. So, nice little move, and still in a beautiful buy zone, in my opinion, off of that. Maniki, not a lot of people have been buying Maniki lately. Toshi held pretty well. Holy shit. Did Toshi even get affected? Toshi didn't even get affected. Look at this. I guess Toshi, and another project, the same thing, was Zebek. Believe it or not. Zebek actually did really well. I'm going to pull that up next. But look at Toshi, I guess because it already was on a nice pump, which I called out like a few days ago. About a week ago, I said Toshi was a play. It dropped 33%, but it was up 40% yesterday as well. So, it kind of just came back down to where it was before it pumped, right? But still holding this trend of making higher lows as it continues. So, Toshi actually, I think, has dethroned Brett now. Toshi's got a bigger market cap than Brett now on base. Look at that. Look at that. Where is Zebek? Zebek's at 41 right now. That right there is outstanding for Zebek. So, I don't know why I'm taking it out right there, but you can see yesterday. So basically, if any project was pumping yesterday, it helped it out a lot because it basically took the hit for it, right? So Zebek had a nice little move. It was pumping yesterday, got up to about 53. You can see it dropped down about 28% compared, like I said, to some of the big cap projects, right? These billion-dollar projects. I think DeFi actually held fairly well compared to a lot of these big cap projects, believe it or not. So Zebek dropped down 28%, and then you can already see it's already on a nice little move towards the upside. From that bottom to where it's at right now, it already bounced about 11%. So held pretty well from that crash. So, like I keep saying, guys, it is what it is as far as, what happened. There was nothing that we could have done unless you were one of those insider traders that made, $100 million. I mean, us normal folks, there was nothing that we could have done, right? There's nothing that we could have foreseen for a flash crash. They call them black swan events for a reason, right? It's an event that you're not going to usually be able to tell it's going to happen, right? So all I can say is for myself, this morning, last night, particularly, I just, added to my bag for, really just a few things, just basically bringing my average down, taking advantage of the dip, and just let everything play itself out. I know it's been brutal, right? Everybody was pumptober. I was one of them. We should have probably seen it coming, because normally when everybody is on the same page, it usually tends to be the opposite happens, right? But again, I'm not really too worried. I still do think that we have a lot of upside that's going to be coming. So, and this article pretty much, says the same thing as far as greed flipping into fear, stuff like that. Let's see what Bitcoin's dominance has done. I'm sure Bitcoin's dominance has completely skyrocketed. Whenever something like this happens, look at that. We literally pretty much wiped out almost all of our, we want to call them gains. Bitcoin's dominance literally ran up to 62%. It's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Ugh. Absolutely disgusting there, guys. Tuan, what's going on, brother? What is going on? Seeing a little bit of a recovery on the hourly. I think you have to remember too, it is the weekend, right? So we have low volume right now. Low volume, so not really expecting, we've seen a little bit of a bounce. Oh, you know what? Did I not call this out? Shout out to Crypto Rover. Freaking Jim Cramer. Remember 2 weeks ago we talked about this? He posted, he said, buy crypto. It never fails. That should have been our warning to just sell everything until after. We should have known this was going to happen. Never fails. Never fails. This chart basically showing you, is this Bitcoin? It is. This is showing you back in 2017 that during the bull market, there technically were, and there were days like this, It just, and at this time the market wasn't worth as much, so it wasn't as big as an event, right? There wasn't $9.5 trillion of liquidations. There wasn't $9.5 trillion anywhere near crypto at this time. At the time, the whole crypto space was less than $1 trillion in market cap. So you would see bigger fluctuations during this time back in 2016, 2017. But it shows you that even on our way up, you would see, this is on the weekly, 38% down, 38, 33, 38, 36, 29. But if you zoom out, you can see we kept moving towards the upside in between some of these rough times that we had during that time. I wasn't in the market at that time. I jumped in 2020, but even in 2020, 21, it was something similar to this. Wasn't as brutal per se. There was a couple times that it was actually worse. We dropped down 50% in the market, and we stayed down for a little while, and it was brutal, but we ended up still making through towards the end of the year and still going through all coin season and everything like that. So, only thing I can say, guys, is just keep your heads up. We're going to get through this. Yes, this wasn't an unprecedented event, something that we had never seen on the scales of how much money was liquidated. But percent-wise, we've seen this before. And it just basically, it was a reset in the market. It was a big flush, right? It cleansed the space. I'm not saying it's guaranteed now that we're 100% moving up, because something like this, it might take a few days, might take a few weeks for us to really get behind us, and really get the confidence back up. But believe it or not, things like this, it has to happen, right? So it is what it is, right? Flip said, Kramer has my bonus blood on his hands. Flip, oh yeah, didn't you get your bonus yesterday, bro? We should have known this was going to happen, bro. Now that we look back, all the signs were there. Flip got his bonus. Whenever Flip tells us he's getting his bonus and he's starting to buy, well, actually, we usually rally. We usually rally like the day before Flip gets his bonus. I don't know. There seems to be, now that we're looking back, there were red flags that we were going to see something like this happen. I just still can't believe that some of these altcoins. My biggest thing is like ICP dropping down to $1. Like we just looked at the DeFi projects, right? We looked at meme coins. You would think meme coins would have gone to zero, right? We looked at meme coins and they were down 20, 30%. Look at this. ICP dropped 74% in an hour. 74%. This was a $2 billion asset at the time, if not more. 74% drop. It has recovered very nicely. But it's mind-boggling. XRP. I think this is probably the biggest one. XRP dropped down, yes, 55%. ICP was a little bit more. But how much money? XRP's market cap is 10 times the size of ICP. So imagine how much money left the market or left XRP briefly. But you can see a nice recovery off of that. Let me look at like the 15-minute. You can kind of, you look at this. It happens so fast. I'm on the 5-minute now. Like, look at this. It literally 10 minutes, 15-minute drop. That's all it took for it to lose 50% of its value. 15 minutes. And it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30 minutes for it to come back and almost get back to where it was at. Absolutely insane, guys. It's insane. But imagine anybody that took advantage of this. They did really well. Same thing with Jasmine. Another was $1 billion project. I don't know if it is now. 66% move towards the downside. DeFi was safer. DeFi was safer than the big caps. It really was. So, I think, like I keep telling you guys, as we move forward, especially getting into tomorrow, just expect a little bit of volatility. I'm telling you guys, going in tomorrow evening, just expect it. Members, we're going to definitely have a stream most likely tomorrow. I'm going to try to do a stream tomorrow maybe we can do an evening stream when futures open up tomorrow. We can kind of figure out how the week's going to look. So expect volatility going in tomorrow evening, just because the futures are going to be opening up and you're going to start seeing, with the stock market, preparing to open up on Monday, what we might be getting ourselves into. Just also remember, we do have this Fed meeting coming up in literally just a little bit over 2 weeks from now. That's going to be very bullish for the market as well. So, all I can say is hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of this historic event, right? However, whether it's opening up a long down here, catching, some good spot buys on your favorite projects, whatever the case is, but no matter what, guys, we are still going to prevail. We're going to continue to move on. We've gone through far worse things as a market. We have gone through far worse things, I'm telling you. Last bear market was absolutely brutal, with exchanges just collapsing. This was bad yesterday. But hopefully we can just get right past it. We'll talk about it. We'll laugh about it down the road. Maybe we'll even cry about it, because that dollar ICP could have been a massive move if whoever bought it, that dollar XRP, right? That $100,000 Bitcoin. You fill in the blank. That 10-cent fetch, right? That 0.0004 Jasmy, right? Those could have been possibly massive moves right there if you took advantage of it. So, Bullish said he took advantage of it. Bullish said I did say a pretty significant move downwards. Did you call that? So, are you the one to blame? Just kidding. Looks like Jerome is supposed to talk on the 14th. What day is that? Tuesday? So we have old pal talking on Tuesday. We have PPI coming out the following day. Or no, I'm sorry. PPI coming out on Thursday. And that's pretty much it. PPI and Jerome Powell this week. And then the following week is when we're going to get the FOMC meeting. So those are going to be our macro stuff. I think the other thing that we're really just kind of waiting to see is as far as this tariffs with Trump and stuff as well. So, well, with that, guys, honestly, if you can, just part ways from the charts for today. For now, keep an eye on them, right? But part ways, just enjoy yourself. Let everything play itself out. We're going to be all right, guys? Members, I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow on Sunday before football. My game starts at 4, so Eastern Standard Time. So we'll definitely have a stream probably earlier. So I see a lot of rum in my future for today. I do see a lot of rum. Maybe we'll stream again later. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys, be safe out there. Keep your heads up. We're gonna be all right. I'm jumping on. I don't know if you guys have ever played I'm on Battlefield 6. It just dropped yesterday. Hit me up in the Discord if you guys want to join. I'm going to be jumping on Battlefield 6. So if you guys want to join, you guys can. Bullish, hope you have a great day, brother. Flip said I bought Pengu too, but my biggest purchase was my bar tab last night. Hell yeah. You know what the good thing was is that I already was I wasn't driving. But when we got to our destination, I already was drinking. I bought me a bottle of rum. A nice one too. Nice. Got the cork. It's not like one of those little twists. It was a cork. You know, was drinking some rum last night. And when I was at dinner is when I saw it all. And I was like, we just sat down. I was like, oh my God. Everybody was like, you all right? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is insane. Bullish, you're not in the Discord, bro? Hold on. This is probably like the 7th time I've had to drop it for Bullish. Oops. There, I just dropped it in the Discord. I'll pin it at the top. This is for anybody else. If you guys want to join, anybody that's watching after the fact, come join us in the Discord. It's free. We have fun. Talk about new projects dropping. Just please come in with good intentions. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Good intentions. All right. All right, well, that's it. That's all she wrote, guys. Be safe out there. Like I said, hit me up in the Discord. I'm going to be on Battlefield taking it out. I'll be flying in a chopper, in a tank. That's where I'll be. All right, guys. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much. We're going to be fine. We're going to be good. Hit that like. If you're new here, hit the subscribe if you're watching after the fact. Members, I'll see you guys in the Discord. I'll see everybody in the Discord, but I'll see you guys in the Discord. I'll see you guys tomorrow for sure, all right? All right, guys. Thank you again. See ya.